there's like a shot in the trailer, not in the movie. Also, speaking of one of the OG characters and one of the other characters, there's a shot in Empire magazine, not in the movie. So I'm kind of going like, is this Sony fuckery again? Is this possibly Sony fuckery again? Maybe. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Now, of course, I already said this. I said this on Film Junkie Live. I am going to be biased, naturally, because I'm a Ghostbusters fan. I've been, so as far back as I can remember. I mean, for God's sakes, look at this. Look at how adorable this is. Had to get the popcorn bucket of the, little mini marshmallow man. And I, actually Mama Film Junkie bought this for me because she went with me last night, wanted to watch it. And then we saw this and I was like, oh man, I wonder if we could just buy it separately. And sure enough, could, of course. And then she just bought it for me. So of course I liked it a lot. And really enjoyed it. Really, when it comes to Frozen Empire, really felt the most like a Ghostbusters cartoon, like the real Ghostbusters. Really felt that. And of course, it hits all the nostalgia beats. It shows love to Ghostbusters 2, which I've reinvigorated my love for Ghostbusters 2, which you guys saw. I did a little spiel about that, talked about how much that movie is not loved, and I had a theory on why it's not loved, because Vigo was a scary motherfucker for some of us, so we kind of just went, But then, of course, that's not for everybody. It was just my theory, especially for me and the generation that grew up, and when it came to that movie coming out and seeing it in the theaters and everything. But it showed more love, because the first one didn't really show that much love. I think the only thing that really tied Afterlife to Ghostbusters 2 is just Ray's bookstore. But now in this one, there's a lot more in Ray's bookstore. And then there's just little Easter eggs that I won't, fully say, but there's Easter eggs throughout. There's one particular thing where I chuckled because it was so subtle, and I was like, yes, that alluded to Ghostbusters 2. But it's like, yeah, you can't ignore it. You just can't ignore it. It's canon. It's freaking canon. So you can't do that. So yes, it's enjoyable. There's a lot happening there. When people were saying that it was like heavy with a lot of subplots and stuff, I was like, yeah, I could see that. But at the same time, it all kind of just worked with the general plot. I do, however, okay, so here's my gripes when it comes to Frozen Empire. I would say my gripes, and let me take a quick drink for this one. Oh, busting makes me feel good. Makes everybody feel good. Anyways, okay, so I would say gripes. Obviously, being a Ghostbusters fan forever, you want to see more of the OG cast, and I think they utilize them the best they should. Even though I would like to see them throughout. I mean, Dan Aykroyd's in this a lot more, which is great, and you could tell he was having fun with this. With all the stuff that comes out of his mouth, that Dan Aykroyd was having fun just reciting like a lot of the things and theories and history and stuff like that. He was having fun. But obviously you wish that they were in there just a little bit more. I would say though that the final fight was a little underwhelming. I was kind of hoping for a little. I was like, okay, I thought this was going to be a little bit more, and I think the reason why is because there's like a shot in the trailer, not in the movie. Also, speaking of one of the OG characters and one of the other characters, there's a shot in Empire magazine, not in the movie. So I'm kind of going like, is this Sony fuckery again? Is this possibly Sony fuckery again? Maybe. Or maybe there's just like, well, it's whatever. Who knows? But I'm just kind of going. And then there's two shots in the trailer, two things in the trailer, not in the movie. And I was kind of going like, interesting. And then even just the way like the poster looks, and I don't know, it seemed like the final fight was going to be something more, and it ended up being kind of just not that. So I was a little like, I thought it was going to be a little bit grander, I guess you could say. But other than that, it's still very enjoyable. I would say Afterlife is better. I still like that one more, but Frozen Empire is still a good addition to the franchise, and by no means is it a bad movie. I think it's great. It's a great chapter. I think one of the hard things too was the fact that it's been like a pretty big gap in between the first and second. So the kids are like older. That's anytime there's kids, that always makes it more difficult because it's like, hey, you're going through puberty and shit like that. Like my favorite character from Afterlife was Podcast, and he was like this little, high voice, and all of a sudden now he's like shot up and he's got a deep voice, and it's just like, geez, So, anyways, go see it. Ghostbusters fans will obviously love it. If you're a Ghostbuster fan, you'll love it, and get yourself a popcorn, Stay Puft Guy or the Trap. Hmm.